Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Jake Lambright, and I want to talk a little bit about the storm chances that we have coming up as we go through the next few days, as well as what potential rainfall totals could look like by the time we end this work week. Let's start off by talking about what's going on today, and it's not going to have a big impact on us here across at least central and southern Louisiana. But here's a look at today's severe weather outlook. You'll notice a level 1 marginal risk there in the dark green. And then to the north over in Arkansas, there's a level 2 slight risk and level 3 enhanced risk even for portions of eastern Arkansas. Here's a look at live radar right now. We'll zoom in into the state. You'll notice this complex of showers and storms starting to move through the southern half of the state and will be entering at least northern Louisiana here shortly. Now, models don't handle these types of complexes and setups overall this time of the year very well for us. So the big question is, will this hold together to provide really any of the state with rain, or beyond northern Louisiana at least with rain, or is this going to fizzle out by the time it gets to central Louisiana? Of course, we'll walk through what that could look like here with the model data here in just a moment. There are a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings with these storms in southern Arkansas as well as north central Mississippi, but at this point, it will slowly start to transition, at least from what I'm seeing, what I think, from a severe weather threat to a flash flooding threat. You can see just how slow those storms are moving, again, in portions of southern Arkansas. So for northern Louisiana, at least some of northern Louisiana will see rain later this evening. Central parts of the state, though, again, that's kind of to be determined. Let's take a look here at a version of Futurecast. See if I can get that to load in. It might take just a second as we go through the rest of the night tonight and into tomorrow, because we'll see similar complexes of storms like what I just showed you on radar as we go through really a lot of this week. So we've got the chance for that on Monday, also late Monday night, early Tuesday morning at the minimum. And that's just what we can see here with the shorter range and the shorter term. It's going to take just a second for this to load in. And of course, if you have any questions throughout the course of this live stream, you can leave those in the comment section below. So let's see if this will load here just a second. I might actually pull this down the screen here for just 1 second. Change my internet connection here, and that should help things out. But again, we do have several chances for showers and storms. Rainfall totals still looking like they could range anywhere from about 2 to 5 inches widespread across the area. So those rainfall totals certainly will add up. Okay, let me turn that back on where y'all can see the data should be set. So there we go. Model data, this is going to be about 7 p.m. So doing a pretty good job with handling things. And you'll notice as we go closer to 11 p.m. midnight tonight, most of those storms kind of dissipate. That's why rain chances for us in central Louisiana are on the lower side. But again, the closer you are to the state line, the more likely you are to see some showers and storms this evening. Then things get a little more interesting going into tomorrow. Actually, swap a setting there so it's a little easier to follow along there at the top. So we head into the late morning, early afternoon hours tomorrow, and modeling data, despite the fact it doesn't handle things well this time of the year, has been fairly consistent with showing a complex of storms moving through central Louisiana during the day tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon hours as well. And then after the late afternoon, things die down for a little while, but you'll notice by Tuesday morning, 6, 7 a.m., potential additional complex of storms would be moving through the area. Now, our severe threat, and I'll show you those outlooks here in a moment, are on the lower side, but with these storms, if they do become strong to severe, the greatest concern is going to be damaging winds as well as some hail with those as well. We'll go back to our severe weather outlooks. I'll show you what tomorrow's looks like. Tomorrow, there's a slight risk for Sabine Parish, Natchitoches Parish. Most of that slight risk stays confined to the Arklatex area. Northeast Louisiana, the majority of Northeast Louisiana and Central Louisiana in the dark green are under marginal risk for strong to severe storms. That's a level 1 out of 5 on the severity scale. When we look at the tornado potential, it is very, very low for the areas that you see there shaded in green over in East Texas. So not looking at a big tornado risk for Louisiana. The highest risk for damaging winds, more northwest Louisiana, eastern Texas. Still a wind risk there for northeastern and central Louisiana, and the same can be said about hail. Most of that, the highest risk is going to be concentrated in the yellow that you see there on your screen, and mainly in northeastern Texas. So going back to the category risk, Tuesday, there's also the chance to see strong to severe storms across a lot of the state, and it's going to be a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, at least for now. And of course, that can change, so that's going to be something I'm watching pretty closely. So, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I am keeping an eye on those. I have another screen off to the side where I can see your comments come in and I can answer your questions. But again, here's a look at the picture right now. Model data, which again doesn't handle these setups the best, is showing that as these storms continue moving to the south, start to break up over portions of Louisiana, and not there's not high confidence in that line that you see there on your screen holding together beyond the I-20 corridor, south of the I-20 corridor. But again, additional rounds of showers and storms are on the way. Actually, switch over to our potential total rainfall over the next 48 hours or so. Let me actually back this up. Go to 7 a.m. Tuesday, maybe an inch to 2 inches of rain for most. That does seem to be pretty persistent. There is a little bit of a difference between the two. Find what I had pulled up earlier. I believe that this is what I shared on social media. So after doing my own forecast, this is one model run that I am showing you here on the screen. But based on all the data that I've combed over today, and this is what I posted to social media, this lines up the most with what I think we are going to see this week by the time everything's all said and done. Mainly 2 to 5 inches of rain widespread for central and northern Louisiana. You'll notice some hot spots there on the map. So some locally higher amounts are going to be possible as usual. But again, most from basically Vernon, Rapides, Avoyelles Parish north, I'm thinking you're going to see about 2 to 5 inches of rainfall. The good news with this, it's spread out over several days. It's not 2 to 5 inches of rain in one day. Then localized flooding concerns would be a little bit greater. There is a low end threat for flash flooding every single day. The Weather Prediction Center has a level 1 through 4, and most days we're keeping it at a level 1. So of course, with widespread heavy rain, especially if it's slow moving, like what's going on in southern Arkansas right now, our localized flooding concerns would be a little bit higher. But for the time being, localized flooding concerns are on the lower side, as we will pick up a good amount of rain when you add it all up, but not necessarily so much at one point. So just to walk through that timing for you, at least for the next 48 hours or so on the rain. And again, the big disclaimer here, models do not handle these setups very well at all. We might not see any kind of shower and storm activity at all. That's something to keep in mind. But I do want you to stay prepared, want you to stay weather aware. And of course, you can have your weather alerts turned on the KALB weather app, or if you're watching me in Northeast Louisiana, the KNOE weather app. And if you get a warning on your phone, move indoors, take action. But of course, here's a look at the current timing. Not doing too bad with the timing and placement of storms in southern Arkansas. For the rest of this evening, it shows those storms kind of fizzling out as they get to the I-20 corridor, at least the Louisiana part of that line. Then here's a look at the radar, 2 a.m. We've got a complex of showers and storms there over the DFW metro. That's going to be the next complex to watch as it approaches the state of Louisiana. Maybe Shreveport-Bossier area earlier in the morning, 7, 8 a.m. if this timing holds. Central Louisiana looking at closer to the late morning, early afternoon hours. And then again, if this timing holds true, that's the big if. Looking at that complex of storms moving into areas like Catahoula Parish, Alexandria, kind of the Fort Johnson area, a little closer to 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then we really start to wrap things up with this timing at least about 4 p.m. Then have to watch for that potential complex number 2 earlier Tuesday morning in central and southern Louisiana, about 7 to 10 a.m. And then the rest of your Tuesday is looking okay so far. So that's the afternoon update of this specific model that I showed you. We'll walk through the morning update because, like I said, I've said it a million times at this point, models don't handle the timing and placement of these complexes very well at all. And that's not something new. I know there have been some articles and whatnot about changes within NOAA that are very true. We're not getting as much data in these models and they're not doing as well, but this is something that has just been a thing before that, before those changes took place. So again, this is look at the morning update. Still pretty adamant. The timing's a little bit earlier, but still pretty adamant about a complex of storms moving through the state on Monday. And then the big difference here is that once again, with complex number 2, potentially number 3, has those moving through earlier, like more overnight Monday into the early morning hours on Tuesday. So, of course, we're getting a new batch of data here within the next couple of hours. I'll be interested to see how the timing of that looks. But things have been fairly persistent run to run here. But we do have the chance to see several complexes of showers and storms. And of course, at least some segments of that line could be strong to severe with damaging winds really being the main threat with these storms, and also the potential for some hail in there as well. All right, so I don't see any questions here in the Facebook comments for now. Again, I'm going to keep you posted on social media as I learn more, as we get new data in, of course, and as I'm fine tuning that forecast. I'll give you the first alert to any new changes. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. And of course, this video will be available for you to replay if you're just now joining here once I end the live stream. So thank you for joining me this evening. And of course, I'll have additional updates for you over on Facebook if needed.